ba na parang stuck ka sa trabaho mo? Yung tipong paggising mo, pagod ka na agad. Hindi dahil sa pagod ka, kundi alam mo na papunta ka na naman sa maling lugar. Can you hear that inner voice? Yung bulong sa loob ng pagkatao mo na nagsasabi, hindi lang ito ang buhay ko. I know I am meant for something bigger. Naririnig mo siya, di ba? Pero mas malamang yung takot. You're afraid of what you might become if you actually listen to it. Baka pag give up mo yung work mo, yung sahod mo, or yung position mo, maging nobody ka na lang. I'm Paris, over 15 years in the BPO industry, a decorated leader, and this is what happens when you finally have the courage to become someone for yourself. Akala natin pag nakuha natin ang isang posisyon, malaking sahod, respeto ng industry, panalo na tayo, finish line na. Pero what if yung finish line na yun, bangin pala? I spent over 15 years in the BPO industry as a fixer, as a firefighter. Meaning, kapag nagkakaproblema ang isang account o isang team, ako ang laging tinatawag para ayusin yon. Pero nung ako na ang nangailangan ng tulong, I was treated like a liability. Today, I'm sharing my truth. Bakit ako umalis? Paano ako nabully? At bakit ako umuwing unemployed dito sa Bohol? Let's talk about context. 18 years old pa lang ako, nag-start na ako mag-work. While my friends were busy partying, I was worrying electric bills and kung paano ako makakapaglagay ng pagkain sa lamesa namin. Hindi naman ako pinanganak na may gintong kutsara sa bibig. I was raised by my tita Francine. I consider her as the most important person in my life. She sacrificed a lot of things for me. Siya ang haligi ng tahanan namin. Kaya nung tumigil na siya sa pagtatrabaho because of her age, I had to step in to become the next breadwinner. I knew it was my turn. Bitbit ko ang buong pamilya sa likod ko. That pressure, it turns you into a diamond, yes. But it makes you very, very tired. Just like most people in the BPO industry, I climbed the corporate ladder. From a top-performing agent to one of the most decorated leaders in the BPO industry. I was managing hundreds, if not thousands of people. My specialty, piloting a new account and stabilization. I was the person who they called when they had a new project or when things are falling apart. They were always like, Paris, ayusin mo to. Paris, isave mo tong account na to. Paris, simulan mo to. Naging addict ako, hindi sa bisyo, kundi sa success. There's a certain fulfillment when people are calling you people person. You're the one fixing things for them. Yung ikaw yung tinatakbuhan kapag may problema, pag sunog na yung account, pagbagsak na yung metrics at gulong-gulo na ang lahat. Yung parang feeling mo hero ka every time that you are contributing to help save a multi-million project. Naisip ko nga siguro kaya ganito ako because I'm, gay from the 90s. Na-inculcate na siguro sa isip ko na I always have to prove myself, na I always have to be visible, productive, and cooperative kasi kung hindi baka ma-ekis ako. But here's the paradox of being so passionate about work, being so reliable, and being so masipag. The more I do things for the company, the more I was breaking myself. Every time na nagigreen yung KPIs namin, every time na may na-resolve ako mga problema for the company, parang nagiging kabayaran no na iperaso ng kaluluwa ko. I was busy building a kingdom for others, while my own home, my inner peace, was turning into ashes. I became an expert wearing a corporate mask. Alam niyo to, di ba? Yung ayaw mo na, pero kailangan mong ituloy. Kasi pag huminto ka, madaming taong hindi makakarating sa patutunguhan nila. Kahit na gusto mong sumigaw, pero pagpasok mo, you're a decorated leader. You smile, you motivate, and you hit your targets. People looked at me and saw success. The title, the influence. Pero pag uwi ko sa bahay, pagtanggal ko ng maskarang yon, I feel like a hollow shell. Para akong isang magandang baso sa labas, pero sa loob, unti-unti nang nababasag. I was winning the corporate game, but I was losing the only thing that mattered, myself. Doon ko narinig yung inner voice ko na nagsabi na, you deserve more, you're not supposed to be here, you're meant for something bigger. Then came the day that changed everything. Simple lang, naglalakad kami ng partner ko sa kalsada. And out of nowhere, bigla akong nahagip ng tricycle. Sa sobrang lakas niya, tumalsik kami, natumba ako. And you know what the scariest part was? I felt nothing. Hindi ako naggalit, hindi ako nasaktan, or wala akong naramdamang sakit at all. I just stood up, dusted off my clothes, and kept walking. That's when I realized that I was in a full-blown mental breakdown. When the pain couldn't register anymore because the internal noise is too loud, you're in the danger zone. Doon ko naisip na patay na pala ako. I was so far gone that even a crash couldn't wake me up. I was like a ghost haunting my own life. Naisip ko, ano bang ginawa ko? I just went above and beyond for my work. I just did everything to serve my people, my bosses. That's when I knew that I need a professional intervention. This is the first time that I'm going to talk about it. I was diagnosed with a severe major depressive order. And I had to take a lot of medication for me to be back on my feet, not to harm myself, and, keep going. The paradox of being a breadwinner is, para kang isang train, hindi ka pwedeng huminto. Kasi pag huminto ka, yung mga taong nakasakay sa train na yon, they won't be able to get to their destination. To be fair with my bosses, after I shared with them what happened to me, they offered me a new challenge, a new environment. Ang gandang pakinggan, di ba? But later on, I realized it was a demotion disguised as a lifeline. Ngayon, naaalala ko siya. Natatawa na lang ako because naging secretary ako for nothing. I spent years managing global applications, handling complex accounts, handled over 2,000 people, and then suddenly my KPI shifted. Instead of strategy and growth, I was forced to handle housekeeping issues, plumbing issues, yes, you heard it right, toilet problems. The person who used to manage global applications handled multi-million account problems. Suddenly, I was forced to handle housekeeping and plumbing issues. It was like they tried to bury my expertise and make me feel useless. You might be wondering why I accepted the role. I accepted the position because when you're down, you're hungry for a second chance. But it was a trap. They gaslighted me. I could still remember in one of our meetings when my boss translated her English statement into Tagalog, insinuating na hindi ko siya naiintindihan. She did it in front of the people I was supposed to lead. I realized na it wasn't a miscommunication. It was an attempt to strip me of my dignity. So that was my villain origin story. I realized right then that this is not the career that I would die for. This is not the boss that I would be supporting, that I would be willing to go above and beyond. And then the inner voice started to become louder na you're really not supposed to be there. Hanggang kailan mo ba hindi pakikinggan tong sinasabi ko sa'yo? You're just wasting your time. You are meant for something bigger. Because the bosses that you're serving, they only love you for what you can do. But they don't love you for who you are. The moment na makita nila na mag-crack ka, na mawala yung galing mo, yung productivity mo, the moment na hindi ka na nila kailangan, X ka na. That's the reality. That's the reality sa BPO industry. That's my truth. That's my reality. Even to a manager, even to the most loved manager, nangyari siya sa akin. Hindi ako nagsalita about it because I still treasured, the time that I spent with the company. I did not want the people, especially the agents, na magkaroon sila ng more reasons to resign. Kasi alam ko, it's not just gonna affect the company, but also yung livelihood ng mga agents if I am going to empower them to simply walk away from that company. Because I don't think may problema ang company. I think the leadership ang may problem doon. Looking back, it was like a coordinated play. They created this echo chamber. My boss and her peers or her circle tried to make me look like I'm losing my mind. I reached out to my boss multiple times, but my words were twisted to make it feel like I was the one being aggressive. Yung pagtawag nila sa akin na baliw na bakla, na sisiraan na ng ulo, they were not just insults, they were justifying my demotion. It felt like they needed me to look like a fool so they could be heroes in handling me. They made everyone believe, including their bosses, that I was incompetent and uncooperative. Imagine the person who used to stabilize account and build applications for years, biglang hindi na lang marunong makisama at mahirap ng kausap. You know what hurt the most? They were my peers. My boss was my mentor. I admired them, loved them, respected them. But I think loyalty isn't to the truth. It's to the one holding the power. So I did the brave thing. I admitted that I wasn't okay. So I need to seek professional help. Kasi nga naman baka affected ng mental health ko the way I perceive things. Baka wala naman silang ginagawa, di ba? Baka naman na-overthink ko lang siya. Feeling ko ginagaslight ako pero hindi naman talaga, di ba? Baka may mali kung paano ko nakikita yung mga bagay-bagay. So I sought permission to take a medical leave so I could, continue healing, continue taking my medication. Naisip ko nga na baka tama sila kasi when I spoke with a psychiatrist, I was given a lot of medication. Sabi ko, baka tama nga sila at nababaliw na ako. But I took them anyway because I wanted to be back on track. I wanted to heal. I wanted to continue living my life. When you're a breadwinner, you cannot afford to lose your job, right? Even though it's hard, you have to keep on going. After receiving from my doctor na fit to work na ako, but I just need to continue taking the medication she prescribed me, I thought magiging okay na ang lahat. Pero nung bumalik ako, wala na yung upuan ko. They used the time that I was away to erase me. They used my vulnerability, that the very thing that I was trying to heal, to finally cast me out. I returned from healing only to find out that while I was fighting for my mental health, they were busy finding ways to make sure that I never came back. At ang nakakasama pa talaga ng loob, pagbalik ko, pinauwi na lang ako. Walang sabi-sabi. Umuwi ka, kukontakin ka na lang namin kapag may bago kang posisyon dito. 1 buwan, 2 buwan, 3 buwan nang lumipas. Wala akong narinig na tawag from my boss. To think na itong boss ko ay kaibigan ko, mentor ko, minahal ko. Pero para akong naging ghost sa kumpanya na pinagsilbihan ko ng madaming taon. Ganun kasi yung pakiramdam kapag nasa floating status ka. It's psychological warfare. It's like the company telling you na mapagod ka na lang, mag-resign ka na para makamove on na tayong lahat. May mga moments na nakatitig ako sa phone, hoping na may ma-receive akong email or ma-receive akong tawag from my boss. Pero walang dumating. At alam kong wala nang darating. At that time, alam ko they wanted me to feel forgotten. They wanted me to feel small. They wanted me to just resign at mag-move on na lang lahat para malinis sa mga kamay nila, and they would look like heroes kasi na-handle nila ako, na-eliminate nila ako. Pero ang hindi nila alam, the Paris in the corporate world will not just walk away from a broken system. So I fought. I went to Dolly. I filed a case against the company that I love so dearly. Not because of money, but because I refuse for them to rewrite my story. I wasn't just an employee who waited for my next salary. I fixed their teams, I fixed their accounts, I fixed their KPIs, I fixed their culture. So I'm not gonna allow, at that time, sabi ko talaga sa sarili ko, I'm not gonna allow them to do this to me. I'm not gonna allow them to rewrite my story. Because everyone can attest how good I was as a manager. Not just a manager, but as a leader. I wasn't about to let them tarnish the truth about my worth. Because if you don't fight for yourself, you're just giving them permission to do the same thing to the next person. I fought because even if you have the power and the minions, I am not going to allow you to take away my dignity without a fight. Pero huwag tayong maglokohan. Winning has a price. 7 buwan, I think, na wala akong sahod. 7 buwan na pinabawasan ko yung savings ko. I was spiraling down financially. My lifestyle changed, pero kahit yung mga gabi na nagtitipid kami, buo ang loob ko. My bank account was low, but my self-respect was finally restored to 100%. So nung matapos yung kaso, I had a choice. Get a new 100K job in Manila or get a new life. I chose Bohol. I chose my life. I chose my tita. I chose my family. I chose to break the cycle. I may have won my case against my company, pero may mga galos ako. Madami tayong mga utang na binabayaran ngayon. My post-era battle isn't always green. And the unknown is still a very dark place. But I broke the cycle of forever employment that yielded no true wealth. Because true wealth isn't the number in your bank account. It's the ability to wake up in your hometown, to hold the hand of the woman who raised you, and to look at the mirror and finally recognize the person looking back. I'm unemployed, I am uncertain, but for the very first time in my life, I am free. Ngayon pagising ko, hindi na ako pagod, hindi dahil sa madali ang buhay, kundi dahil nagiging tama na ang buhay. Ngayon kahit mahirap yung pinagdadaanan ko, may inner voices telling me na, hey, it's alright. You will get through it. And yung success na deserve mo, yung success na hindi mo inaakala, you will get there soon. This is the start of the rest of my life. This is the Unemployed serye. At sa'yo na nanonood ngayon, huwag kang matakot na magsimula ulit. Because sometimes, you have to lose the life that you planned to find the life that was waiting for you all along.
With all